everyone, and welcome back to the Unbothered Podcast, where we chat about The Challenge, and we are back to recap the latest episode of MTV's The Challenge Season 40, Battle of the Eras. Episode 8 is titled Era of the Gladiators, because we are so unique this season with our episode titles. You have myself, Nadine, along with Tia and Caitlin, and we have a special co-host with us this week. You may know him from the Zach Nichols Podcast, the one and only Pierre. Hi, Pierre. Welcome.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you, everyone, for letting me join the conversation today. It's hard for me to watch this challenge and be unbothered because a lot of these issues have me hot and bothered, and I'm here to talk about them all. So thanks for having me on.
That is why you're here.
I'm here. I'm ready.
We're bothered too, even though we're bothered.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah, we have a lot of opinions. So if anybody doesn't know who you are, doesn't know anything about the Zach Nichols Podcast, if you want to just give like a quick little blurb about that.
For sure. Any of you guys know who Zach is? Zach was casted during Era 3. I believe his first season was Battle of the Seasons. He was a cast member, and now we do a podcast together. We have a bunch of guests on, and it's a lot of fun. So check it out.
It's a really good podcast.
Thank you.
We were just dying laughing over the clip from the Tony interview.
Which one, dude? He is unbelievable. Honestly, he's a great friend. He's an entertainer, and I just need as much Tony on my TV as possible. I think he needs a reality show. I think he needs like a whole network. Like, follow Tony around. He's awesome.
So we might cut this out, but like his wife is a Jaconi and I'm a Jaconi. So I feel like we're related somewhere down the line. For me, by marriage, but all in the Louisiana area.
I'm sure there is something there. And you know what? If you're anything like Alyssa, I'm sure you are a strong, like to have fun and hilarious, because she is all those things and above. She's the best thing that's happened to Tony. And I haven't even known him for that long, but I can just tell she's, a big part of his personal success, in my opinion.
Well, Nadine and I got to meet them, and they're great. So
they really are. They really are. How do you
ago.
say it? How do you say it? Jaconi?
Jaconi. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. By marriage. He's Italian. I'm not, but yeah.
Hey, I mispronounce your last name.
Yeah.
I mispronounce your last name all the time.
And it's okay. That's okay.
I'm like, Giacone? I'm not Italian, so, I'm just German and stuff. So I mispronounce everything.
We take it all. We take it all here.
Right.
Yes. All right. So jumping right into it, like we said, it's episode 8. We didn't really recap episode 7 because Tia was busy doing real stuff and like trying to dodge Hurricane Milton. So,
right.
Thankfully she did. But just as a very, very quick, what have happened at the end of episode 7 was we saw Michelle sending Tina home and Kylan sending home Darrell in an elimination that I would have failed immediately. Because I was like, this is a lot more math. They have really stepped up their math in the challenge. I'm no longer as confident as I used to be when I watched these things. I was like, oh, I could do that math. No, I would have failed.
I can't math.
Michelle would have sent me home.
Honestly, when I saw this, I was like, yeah, you gotta be. We don't know how hard. I feel like those bars were way heavier than they looked. I don't know, but I'm like, yeah, I am claustrophobic just watching, and I can go my whole life without trying to do this ever.
That wouldn't have bothered me. It was like I said, I can't math, so that would have been the hard part. I'm not claustrophobic, so
I can't.
I can basic math.
I struggle in an airplane. You know what I mean? Like I'm I'm just I have to have a big SUV. Obviously, being a monstrous person, if you guys haven't seen my show, I'm big. So like just that being that closed in and like trying to get through it fast, you got to keep your composure. And I think Kylan is very, very underrated at keeping his composure in action. We've seen it several times now.
Yeah, we talked to him. He's very like regimented and I don't know what other word I can come up with to explain what he is.
He gets focused and he just sticks with it.
Yeah.
Which you need to in a high pressure environment like this, especially when you have all the people from the peanut gallery trying to like shout hints or trying to throw you off. Like you got to tune them out. So props to Kylan and Michelle for sending home
Absolutely.
the
And
OGs.
Michelle, we'll give some Michelle some flowers too, because and I said it on our show too. It's like, to me, I see, and one thing that your fans got to know, my fans know it, our fans know it, is like, I'm not the historian, so I know about a year and a half out of covering it. So I know Michelle is like one of the main characters to me, and I see her, for the new era, and I see her stacking up these moments, and I just feel like it's a gradual progression. A lot of times, I personally, just because my background is watching sports, I see, like, that's how I think of it. And if she gets better every single year, now she has to make a final for me to, start to say, okay, she's good, because she's knocking on the door every season. So she keeps stacking up these elimination wins. She's beaten Kara and she's beaten Tina. Those are big to me.
So, see, she's in my top 5 of Survivor players. I have not liked her on the challenge though until I kind of like her this season. I like her and Devin together because I love Devin.
So the Devin thing is why you like her. But what is it about her that you don't like here that you like? Like, what was the change?
I got to be honest with you. I think it was the whole Jay situation. I don't know. I don't know what. I can't put my finger on it. I loved her on Survivor. Like I said, she's in my top 5, but I don't know. I just have not liked her on the challenge until now.
Yeah. I think that I like the fact that the first time I got to know her was on USA 2 without Jay, right? So she had Jay for 38, right? And then she was with Jay on 39. I didn't see that first. I saw her on USA 2 where there were some shaky stuff in terms of saying one thing and kind of being affiliated with so many different people. But I thought the intent and her, her heart and her guiding light was okay, and there was a situation on 39 where I felt it was an unfair position that she put Olivia in. But overall, I do think she's super solid. And the fact that Devin is dropping all rules to be with her should tell you something.
I love it. I ship them.
Well, thankfully they ship themselves because they're still
Right?
together. I don't dislike Michelle necessarily. I think the only thing she needs to work on for herself, just being on the show, is just I think she's her own worst enemy because she gets herself like so worked up and spiraling. And I'm like, girl, just take a breath. Just I think they get a little more access to alcohol. She seems to be a little more chilled with that so far. She's probably like, I can get more than a glass of wine. So props to her.
Yeah.
But she's very smart in the game, and she uses what she can to her advantage, knowing that she's one of the smaller females. So I give her props where they're due.
I know a lot of people talk about her voice. I love her voice. I've said this before.
She's awesome. And she's a very when you're around her, she's a very intoxicating energy because it's not innocence isn't the word. It's like it's approachability. She has a very high approachability, in my opinion. So to me, it's really easy to get to know her. I don't know if she has as much power in this game as maybe she would hope for, but she's trying, she's trying, and she has a voice, but it only goes so far, it only goes so far.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, she's playing a different game where she's literally playing with a lot of seasoned players. Like I feel like the last couple of seasons she did, obviously 39, pretty much nobody had ever won anything. Most of them were new. Even USA 2 obviously was mostly newer people. They brought in a few of the challenge OGs because the fans were like, USA 1 sack, blah, blah, blah. And I don't remember her premiere season because I get 36, 37, and 38 all confused. Whatever Corey Lay's one was. And again, it's not, you get like a CT thrown in here, but on this season, you have a bunch of seasoned veterans, a lot of people who've been playing the political game a lot longer. And it turns into I'm trying to swim instead of sink. And you're coming up against people like Theo, who's he's vicious in his moves if he wants to be. He's a slithery man, and I do love it. But anyway,
well, we all know I love Theo.
Caitlin, do you like Michelle or what?
I would climb that man like a tree.
Caitlin, do you like Michelle?
You like Michelle, Caitlin?
Just, but kind of. I'm like wishy-washy with her. She's just very gullible. I just don't like how she fell for like Laurel's bullshit. Because even Polly mentioned how she like fell for it. How Laurel was following her around the house and then she fell for it. I think she just needs to think for herself instead of listening to other people. That's something that bothers me. She needs a backbone. That's what she needs.
Maybe Devin will help with that.
Yeah.
True.
And obviously this is everything we see on TV. I've never met her in person. I don't like Josh on the show, but he's lovely in person.
He's so lovely in person. It's true.
And I've told him that, so he knows. But he's wonderful in person. Great energy. He's super fun to talk to.
He doesn't cry.
No, he did when he talked about his dog.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. But you know what? I'm okay with that. You're a dog lover. It's good.
Yeah, exactly. So getting back to the episode, tensions are starting to grow between the eras. Bananas is still mad that he's a target every other week and he's bitching that Ryan isn't. And I'm like, dude, if the roles were reversed, you would be like, oh, it's fair and love weren't challenges, Ryan. So I just ignore him. I'm amazed at this point that Derek is still in the game with his leg.
I know, the man is a beast.
I'm like, how have they not said, look, we know you're not asking for medical attention, but it is very effing obvious. And at this point, we can't keep taking this risk. It is insane to me that they've let him stay this long.
I'll say this, like, one thing I love is when I have an opinion one week and it completely changes the next week. I wholeheartedly felt that he should have went down there for Darrell. And I wholeheartedly thought that he should have said, hey, I am clearly at a very big disadvantage and I'm probably not going to win this challenge. It's $1 million. And Darrell's my boy. I stepped up from him earlier. I wanted to give him this opportunity. Let me go in. If I win, I win. Cool. But if not, all right, it's cool. He didn't do that. And I said, he has no chance. Well, he proved in this elimination that when it comes to eliminations, he's never out of it, even with a blown tire, as he said. And it's funny because I was thinking, like, all right, Matt, let's do simple math. He called himself a 3-legged dog. Well, a dog has 4 limbs, and one gone would be a 75% disadvantage. A human has 2. So one limb gone is a 50% disadvantage, and he tied Corey. It was just a matter of time. So hats off to Derek. I said it on our show that came out with Ryan today. He needs to be on every season, and no one has given more to the game in an instant as I saw here. So big shout out to Derek, and yeah, I thought that was really, really awesome.
We got to interview him too, and he's amazing, and we've met him. He's just great.
Great guy. He's one of my favorite male challengers of all time. He's like at the top of my list. We love Derek. Yeah. I'm always amazed with the amount of fight and heart that man has, and people have left the game for way lesser reasons. So
that's been exciting for me, is because I've been doing this professionally or whatever as a podcast for a few seasons, and you see the clips and you hear the stories, and obviously you watch the episodes here and there, but to see it and on an airing season, what the lore and the legend of him was really special to see, and on such an iconic season and such an iconic moment with the stakes so high and with the injury so severe. We're talking about a year recovery. This isn't a month, a 2-week, a twisted ankle. We're talking about a year recovery type of injury, and he beat somebody who's boxed for entertainment. That guy, Corey has fought in like a professional pay money to see me fight situation. So very impressive performance. And to me it was he looked good in a loss, for real.
Absolutely.
We straight jumped to the end.
It's okay. We'll circle around. We just do this sometimes. We side tangents.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I know that's probably not what you meant. I don't know if you were talking about the daily earlier or what, but I'm sorry. I had to go on that rant.
You're fine.
This is what we do.
It's fine. Sometimes we just take totally different directions, but that's fine. It's okay. So the new targets that we have for this episode, era 1 is Rachel and Derek, because there's no other option. Era 2 is Cara and Derek C. Era 3, Corey and Avery, and then era 4, Jenny and Theo. And Jenny, love Jenny. Poor Jenny is irritated AF. She's like, this is the third time. She's over it. And I'm sorry. Every time Casey opens her mouth in that confessional and says something negative about Jenny, I want to come through the screen.
I know.
And then she called her a rookie. Ma'am, she beat you on your rookie season when it was her second. Who are you talking about?
I don't think you guys. That's for you guys. That's for you guys to say. I mean, Casey obviously feels like she's on a different level. At least that's how she talked. And let me ask you guys: do you guys think that Casey's on a different level, or is she delusional?
She's delusional.
Delusional.
Jenny
beat Casey would not have won if it had not been for CT. Let's be real.
I mean,
I'm not going to say that necessarily, but
am I wrong?
Season 35, Jenny West beat everybody, men included, up a fucking mountain in a blizzard.
Yes.
And the only reason that, for the most part, that Casey was even in that final with her is she kind of defaulted because Melissa DQ'd because she was fucking pregnant. So, like, I mean, you can complain about, like, you know, Jenny, maybe you need to make more connections, but, like, to call her a rookie and to act like you are better than her when you know she's beat you in a final. And the only reason why this is only Jenny's third season is because production did her dirty by casting her as an alternate in season 36, despite the fact she was the reigning female champion, which is disrespectful. They did the same thing to Amber B. And I think they gave her an alternate on another season. And I'm like, do you just not want the strong women on here? But I don't know. Casey, I'm gonna need you to take a step back, girl. You're making us mad.
Okay. All right. I
will defend Jenny West till my death.
I like that. I mean, this is what I'll say is I know that you know, probably her not being on as many seasons is probably part of it, but you know, a lot of people give Casey top girl credit, you know, and you know, I think that it's good to hear you guys, you specifically, Nadine, have a different opinion on that.
Very different opinion.
Very different. And like Casey is a good physical competitor. She's not a layup at all. Like, not saying that at all. But she's like making it out like she's the top dog. And no, you just happen to have been on seasons prior to, you know, other than season 35 where Jenny was on, where you were one of the only strong physically female competitors. Now you're on a season where you have multiple. So I don't know. That's just how I feel about that.
Okay.
We stand Jenny.
We do. We stand Jenny West. She's lovely. She's absolutely lovely. We've interviewed her before too. And she does like talking about her guinea pigs, but it's okay.
Yeah. I mean,
we don't mind it.
To me, when it comes to like friendships in house, let me ask you guys this, since you are Jenny West fans, like who could have been in this house that would have been an ally to her, or, you know, made sure that she wasn't always the, you know, the pick or whatever? Like who from the challenge seasons do you think would have had her back more in these types of situations? Because if the answer is nobody, then like, what are we talking about? Now, I know that wasn't the point you were making. I know you were talking about the disrespect, but I'm just curious, as you know, to think what you guys think.
Well, we know she's allied with Bananas. Bananas has worked to save her before. They both won season 35 together because it wasn't a single person's thing. Obviously Theo, but he's on her team. So, I mean, obviously he would never probably nominate her. And I'm not saying she doesn't have as many in-game connections as someone like Casey does. Of course Casey does. She's done the last several seasons consecutively with the same people. Like, this is like the first season where
she's got the Nani connection.
Yeah.
So anyone that's friends with Nani is going to
That's a great point too.
Have
that is true. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not saying Casey doesn't have more in-game connections. She does. She's slowly burning them to the ground, as we saw in this episode. But they're there. Anyway, so after we get through that, Michelle tries to, you know, give Jenny some advice. And personally, I do think that the political social game, the challenge, is not something that's necessarily Jenny's strong point, because she is a very good person. And in this game, you got to know how to lie. You got to know how to be kind of like elusive with your deals. And you have to have a few pieces ahead. And she's not a good liar.
True.
There is no poker face.
Who do you guys think are the best liars in this house currently?
Bananas.
We got one.
Trying to think. Who's actually
liars? Like, who's straight up lying?
Theo isn't necessarily a liar, but he plays in the gray area.
I've yet to hear your guys' mutual boyfriend's name here. I'm waiting to hear it.
Oh, Devin?
Yeah. Thank you.
Obviously.
Thank you. I just want to make sure, you know, we all put that on the table.
I think I'm the only one that's in love with him.
Yeah. I like Devin, but like,
Oh, so that's your boot. That's your boot, Tia.
That's her
That's your
boo.
boo.
I have actually loved Devin since our year one.
Got it.
So
That's
Got it.
Tia's man.
Yes, she
I
has.
get it. I get it. I get it. Trust me. I see that. I see the appeal. It's funny. So we started our show officially last August, but before that happened, Zach was a guest on like my personal podcast. And in one of those things, I said, like, as a TV character, me watching, I didn't care for him personally. I thought he was obnoxious. I thought he was loud. I thought it was kind of a lot of hullabaloo for no reason, you know? And we hadn't seen him win at that time. I don't think it was probably right before.
but he's all of those things. So
Well, like what that's where I was going is I had the I had the pleasure of meeting him, and I understand the showmanship. You know, I understand the showmanship, and I understand where it all comes from, because he is a good competitor. He does have the social game, he has the strategy, and he's like a lawyer the way he talks. It's very convincing, it's very thought out, it's very meticulated, and there's always an alternate motivation, which for me, I love watching. I always try to read the subtext, like what is he actually thinking when he's saying A, B, and C, and I love watching it. Give me more Devin. But yeah, what'd you guys think about the nomination this week? Was it an obvious move? Was it brave? I don't know. I have my opinion, but
well, what's your opinion on it?
Uh, I I think I think it was really I think he was the pick, and he made it seem like he was self-nominating, like, oh, I'm I'm doing the brave thing to do. It's like Jordan was just the nomination, and it can only be you. So
Yeah. I mean, and look, it's smart.
I mean, I
Save
agree.
face.
give me that. Give me
No, I
that.
agree.
Yeah. You don't want to piss your team off like John A did the other week by refusing to volunteer,
Right.
and everybody's looking at her like, why isn't your hand going up? Why isn't it
I
going up?
we had our thing about it. The self-nomination thing, it's not for me, dude. It's not for me. Like, make somebody say a
Say your
name. Make
name.
them. And Brad had the perfect soliloquy on this, if any of you guys saw the clip, but he essentially said, like, if we are self-nominating, if people are self-nominating, I no longer have a data point. I no longer have a data point to move forward. And to me, like, I want my enemies to tell me they're my enemies. I don't want to give them an out. Oh, you self-nominated. That's why I picked you. Not for me.
And honestly,
I can respect that.
I agree with that. I feel like you should never self-nominate.
But everyone gave John A hell and back for saying that.
I didn't.
Yeah, well.
And it also shows who's working with who too, you know?
Right.
Yeah. So,
I mean,
yeah.
I think it was smart for him to nominate himself along with Tori.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
strategic. You know, that's strategic. That's strategic. It's a double win, right? Tori not only has a lot of connections, but they're magic together. You know, they're magic together whenever they're motivated. They're magic together.
Dave
they're
and Dave.
They
Yeah,
won
the
together.
Daves. Yeah, Dave won. You know what I'm saying?
And yeah.
And no, it's they're a magic duo. So I think it was really smart on both of their parts, you know. And Tori's not oblivious to that. She knew, like, hey, if Devin's going in, I'm going in. Let me pay my due now, you know.
Yeah.
Sure.
And look, if you're gonna put yourself up as a target, you might as well pair up with somebody who has an advantage. Either people are too afraid to want to go against them, or, you know, they have enough connections with either the other targets or the other teams where, like, okay, if we don't win, unless we lose, we should be safe.
I also, and the we should be safe is the biggest part, right? If Devin and Tori are more motivated than ever to win the daily challenge, right? Because I'll be honest with you, if Devin's not the target, I don't see me personally, I don't see the effort. You know what I mean? The way that it should, you know, way that you should see. But hey, him and Tori are going into this. To me, every challenge, I always say, okay, team 3 is the favorite. They always are. They're the best team, in my opinion, you know? So I think they're going to be fine regardless, but you know, it's smart obviously it's smart for them to pair, you know, in terms of the targets.
I was actually going to ask you that. Who's your favorite era?
My favorite era, I mean, this is really hard because I have friendships on the friendships that I think are closest. Take the friendships out.
Yes.
I like era 3. I do. I like era 3. I just think that they have the most they're the most drama to me because you know that this thing is gonna the Devin and Jordan getting along is only gonna last so long, you know?
Mm.
It's only gonna last so long. I'm waiting for that boiling pot, which is like, you know how when you boil some water, it starts with the little bubbles. Those bubbles are getting bigger. You know, it's about to boil over soon. So I want to see what's happening. So that's probably the most exciting era. I love the badassery on the women on era too. So that's why it was really hard for me. But you know, I think era 3 has the best competitors personally.
Okay. We're Cara fans, so
Yeah, era 2.
Era 2.
Like I said it's very hard. That's how you told me to take the personal relationships out of it.
Yeah.
I can go get my feather right now and put it in my hair.
You should have.
It's right over there. It's literally right over there. So,
we're big Cara stans.
Yeah, no, she's great. You guys should come to New York. We're having a show with her in New York.
We should.
I saw that November 1st.
Yeah, it's kind of close, but
too cold then.
Too cold, yeah. Well, we'd love to have you guys.
Because you're in Florida.
I know.
I'm only 4 hours away from me.
For anyone that wants to meet Cara, we are having a live show in New York, Long Island specifically. It's kind of like a hometown show for Jenna, and then Takara, Polly will both be there. So hopefully some of you guys can make it.
No, that would be so fun. Yeah.
And Laurel too. And Laurel too. She's my friend too.
Oh, I thought you said she was going to be there, and I was like, what is wrong with you? Why would you do that?
Honestly, I might try to get her there because I do miss her, and I would love to see if I can make a reconciliation. But
okay, so
I want to shout out Laurel. I love Laurel too.
Okay, so I have a question. We're getting off track here. So, there are people that are friends with her. What are we not seeing that you guys that are friends with her are seeing?
Yeah. So for me, I think Laurel is very empathetic. She has a huge heart. I'm telling you, you might not believe it, but I'm telling you, she does.
All of our eyes just went, woo.
I'm telling you, you should have seen her at our first live show. She was our first female headliner. She gave everybody her time, her heart, her soul, her everything. Like, she gives it all to the people that, she really cares about. Now, she's not perfect. I think she has some things that I see personally, that if I was doing those things, I would want someone to call me out on. I'll just say that. And I know listen, for me, I would want to, if there is an issue with our personal relationship, I would want to fix it rather than, I think some people would say, if I had those same problems in my personal relationship, I'd rather excommunicate or be not be around that person. I would work to fix them. But I don't have any issues with her personally, other than the way that she treats some of my friends. But I vocalize that, and it's their business anyways. It's not my business. So I say my opinion and I move on.
I don't know her personally, and I'm not going to talk bad about your friend, obviously. But yeah, what we see on TV, I'm like, girl.
You're allowed to listen. You're allowed to criticize the character, the TV character.
Yeah.
And that's something I do all the time. And she is my friend. But to me, you got to criticize. If you're going to criticize the TV character, that's like totally in bounds. Like, do what you got to do. But I'm just telling you the person that I've seen outside of the house, in it is very limited time, but I do call her a friend. But it has been a limited amount of time. In those moments, I've seen good things.
Okay. Interesting.
Well, most people aren't like inherently completely evil or completely good. Everybody's got flaws and everybody's got positive things about it, and it's up to the person to focus on what parts they want to be dominant or whatever.
Yeah, you got to remember another thing too. Is like look at the way that people viewed my podcast partner for so long. I think there was a lot of people that looked at Zach, still do. There you go. And that's fair, right? But you don't know him.
Of course.
You don't know the TV, the TV edited version of him and what you might have seen on TV, right? And while he did a lot and said a lot of everything that you see, you're seeing a glimpse, right?
Yeah, of course.
If somebody were to say, hey, like, you're a judgmental person for judging people on a podcast, well, that's your job. You're on a podcast to judge people. So I wouldn't call you a judgmental person. I would say, hey, you're making a judgment on a show. So, I think you got to get to know somebody here. But like I said, I criticize my friends as the character they play on TV all the time. That includes Jordan. That includes Pauly. That includes Cara if it's warranted. It includes Laurel. You know what I mean? And Ryan and everyone that I know. You know, I'll criticize their character on TV, but them as a person, you got to leave that up to the own experience. Yeah, to the personal experience.
It kind of goes back to what Nadine said. You know, we met Josh, and I don't care for him on the show, but he's so nice in person. He's very nice. So.
I second, third, and fourth that sentiment. He's a very supportive friend. He will always look out. He will answer the phone. And I got a great relationship with him, but I don't agree with his moves. A lot of them, you know, I don't agree with his moves, but that's the game. But that's kind of you know, that's like, and I still root for him even though I don't agree with his moves. I'm like, hey, if it works for you, works for you. I don't agree with it, but do what you got to do, bro.
Yeah, well, and I mean,
funny because that kind of falls on like Bananas. Like on the show, he's such a dick and nobody likes him, but like out of the show, apparently he's pretty well liked. So
I've also heard depends on if you're a man or a woman.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah, I've heard from certain females that they do not have good experiences with him, especially if they don't look a certain way.
I mean, maybe, but for me, I mean,
are you sure that wasn't Fessy?
I don't hear.
Yeah, no, Fessy's the same way.
Fessy's the same
way.
Really?
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know. Those are listen. I wouldn't call Johnny a friend. I would call him an acquaintance. I have really spent very, very like small like just like a meeting with him. But he was very great. I'm bringing that up because I want to say like he didn't know me. He didn't care to, or he had no incentive of meeting me, or he didn't owe me anything. But he gave me his time. So like to me, you know, he was a good person to me. So you know, I you know, you never know. You know, you never know with some people. Fessy is a friend, and I will say that I think he is a good person. But I don't know those women. But I don't know those women's experiences. I think that's like really important too.
Well, we've met Fessy, and I know he's your friend, but
wasn't good.
When we met him, you could tell because we're women that he was more, I guess, attentive and like engaging if he thought she was attractive. And if he didn't necessarily find you that way, he was kind of aloof and kind of like, yeah, okay. And I'm like, bro, where's your personality?
Was this at like an event?
It was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that Tampa or was that Miami?
Yeah, it was Tampa.
Was it Tampa?
No, it was Tampa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll be sure to pass the note on. I'll be sure to pass the note on and make sure he knows.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I was like his least favorite person there. So
all right.
He didn't like my question from the audience. He didn't nothing.
Then I won't. Then I'll leave it alone.
It's okay. It's okay.
All right.
Anyway, I'll be back in the episode. I know we keep jumping off, but it's totally fine. I did laugh at Nehemiah comparing his team to Destiny's Child. I felt like that was very accurate. So accurate. Corey's trying.
Nehemiah, by the way.
Huh?
We love him, by the way.
Oh yeah, we love Nehemiah. Corey's trying to ally with Era 2. He thinks it's smarter, especially right now, with him being a target along with Avery due to her connections with some of the Era 2 guys like Derek C. and Ryan. Nehemiah wants to stay allied with Era 3 because he has ties with Naya and Corey. And honestly, they should just all band together and target Era 4. But what do I know? I mean, they have like the most people right now. They've won the last several dailies consecutively. But, you know.
Sorry. This is going back to what we were talking about, people on the show versus like real life. I feel like that applies to Zach as well.
When you were away, we were talking about that. Yeah.
Oh, were you? Sorry. I had to get my dog out because she was going crazy.
No. I mean, that's actually how the whole conversation got started, which is like,
my bad. We can stop.
No, you're good. Yeah, you're good. It's just, you know, like we can make our because for Laurel specifically, you know, people had their, you know, their opinions, and it's a lot different than, you know, you're watching an edited version. Doesn't mean that her actions that you do see that are edited into the show are warranted. It just means that you have to remember you're seeing an edited version. So we can put a bow on that.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Yep, absolutely.
Moving on.
But yeah, Nehemiah is another one where he's absolutely hysterical, and they do not feature enough of his humor in any of the seasons he does. We've interviewed him. I've met him at a Challenge Mania event. Like, yeah, I love that man.
I agree. I can't wait. I need to meet Nehemiah. I want to meet him because
he's fantastic.
He is like, one thing that I do appreciate about Nehemiah is obviously, like being era 2, you're from, one of the OG eras. 1 and 2 are the OG eras. 3 is that tweener spot, but he has such a youthful energy, though. You know what I mean? Like a lot of this era 1 and some of the era 2 people, Ryan, admittedly, he goes, I ride for era 1. Like that's my type of people, And I think Nehemiah is definitely like the younger soul of that type of group. So it's refreshing to see that. And I feel like, he needs to get some more screen time, more seasons, more everything for Nehemiah as well.
Nope, I agree. Totally agree. And I think for people like Ryan and Nehemiah and even Bananas, like their debut season is so close to that cutoff line that, most of their original connections and stuff were with era 1. So it kind of makes sense that like some of these eras are sort of bleeding over when it comes to friendships, connections, all that kind of stuff.
And I mean, he's got 1 or 2 eliminations, Nehemiah. 1 with CT, but does he have another one? I'm trying to remember. But
this season?
Yeah, this season.
Not yet.
Just 1. Okay, yeah. I mean, shit, man. I mean, it's a big one to have.
And he's sent Derek home in the past. I mean,
right. He's no slouch.
No, he's absolutely not a slouch. Yeah. Not at all. No. So after, Nehemiah and Corey's little conversation, we see Ryan packing up to move out of the era 2 bedroom. Apparently, Cara's like, I moved my ass out of there by episode 2. And I'm like, I don't blame you. If I don't like the people that I'm sharing a room with, I don't want to willingly stay in here for possibly the next 6 to 8 weeks. I'm gonna go take an empty bed near my friends because I don't want to have to hear you. So I just thought it was funny. I did write this down because I just feel like it's accurate as far as his TV persona goes. If they had awards for how much someone can talk about themselves consecutively, Bananas would win every single time.
Oh, for sure. No doubt.
I mean, the production of that edit.
But he really has. He really has. I mean, he really has done a lot. I mean, you got to be honest.
Oh, he has.
He is the challenge, like, let's be real. But, how do you guys feel? Do you guys like when he's on a season? Do you not?
I have a love-hate relationship with Bananas on the show because I feel like he is very hypocritical a lot of times when things aren't going his way. But I will never take away from the fact that that man has won 7 times, and that especially before everybody kind of caught on to his game, he's very politically savvy. He's very good at getting out of ever having to possibly see an elimination. And I mean, not everybody can do that. So I give him his props. I just wish he wasn't such a hypocrite sometimes.
Like outside of the show, he had what was that late night show? It was on after like Saturday Night Live or whatever. It was hysterical, and he was so good on it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know. I don't remember the name of it, but I know what you're talking about.
He would go around, do different things. The one that stood out to me was where he did pole dancing. It was so good, and he's so personable in that way.
He is pure entertainment. He is pure entertainment. He is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's good at what he does. He is definitely an entertainer. Just, humble is not in his vocabulary, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, probably not. But there's me personally, I love the character. I think you have to have somebody like that, and you have to have somebody that not only has I feel like, let me ask you this. Do you feel like he has an equal number of people who love and hate him, or is it swayed one way or the other? Like, what do you guys think? Caitlin, I want your opinion.
Depends.
Yeah, Caitlin's quiet. Yeah.
I had to be quiet because of the baby.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, he's right there. He's hitting me. But I think it's equal. I think it depends what season he's on, though, because sometimes he has more friends on there, sometimes he doesn't. So I just think it really depends. But I personally don't really like him that much. So
there you go.
Stay quiet.
Yeah, and I think as far as the fans goes, I think and look, challenge fans have the memory of a goldfish, most of them. Okay. I think it depends on the season. It changes season to season because there will be a couple where he's not on, and the same people are like, I hate Johnny Bananas. They're like, we need Bananas back. This season is so boring. And I'm like, you gotta make up your mind.
You gotta have a good villain.
You gotta have some villains. You do. You gotta have somebody you really do.
Hate.
So you guys think more people see him as the villain than like a hero,
or someone to love to hate. Yeah,
love to hate.
Sure.
Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
Okay. I got it.
And I think it's the same thing with Devin. People love to hate Devin too, and even Jordan.
I just love to love Devin.
I feel like the pendulum is kind of switched over on Devin. Like, I don't know. I feel like more people like Devin now.
I agree.
But like that tide has turned. I think it didn't always used to be that way. And I think like for Johnny, it might have turned the opposite way. And I think it's kind of crazy because for those of you who followed his whole, his last like year or so, I think a lot of people saw a different side of him on House of Villains that we haven't seen on the challenge yet. And I think there eventually will be like a shift in his demeanor where it's like, hey, I'm just happy to be here. I'm not gonna whatever, and kind of a snake in the grass, still achieve the same thing. We write him into the final, right? We do that every season because he is great, in my opinion. I think he is a great still right now. I think he's a great challenger. It's just maybe he goes about it a different way in the future. Maybe not. Maybe he's still going to be his arrogant self. Who knows? But I don't know. I love watching it. I really do.
I think he's always going to be his arrogant self.
Maybe people change.
Yeah, that's true. Nadine's
he's had a long time to change. Once you hit your 40s, you kind of just settled into that.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyway, any hooties. We have a brief moment of Laurel touching on her fallout with Ryan. For those of you that don't know, Ryan ended up doing an Instagram live. Be sure you were right in the beginning of that, Pierre.
I was there. I was there the whole time.
You were the whole time? Okay, with Nicole. Yeah. Where he basically kind of clarified what the fallout was. So I believe he has the live saved on his Instagram. Ryan does. So you can go back and watch it if you want. But
we talked about it a lot. He was on our show this week too. We talked about it a lot. So if you're a ZNP subscriber, go there too.
Check that out.
Go subscribe. Great podcast.
To the Patreon.
Plus, we love Ryan.
Patreon.
Yeah, we're on Patreon. Mm-hmm. And Ryan's amazing. Ryan is
we so love funny. Ryan.
Every time, like this, well, it's the second time, but he's been here twice. And like you always like, man, I hope that was good. I hope that was good. Every I watch it, I'm like, Ryan's a superstar. Like, honestly, like he makes me laugh. He has great insight. And like you see what he does on the field. He is an ultra competitor, and like you love to see. You don't expect it. It has nothing to do with him being gay. It has more to do with him being scrawny and being out of the mix for so long, but then you see him and he's like right in there, and I love it. And I give me more Ryan as well. I'm a Ryan fan, big Ryan fan.
We love Ryan.
We met him in Charlotte.
Mm-hmm. And I've met him a couple times.
Yeah, he's just such a nice guy. Yeah. And the fact that he did everything that he did with that shoulder injury was
on All Stars 4, insane.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm so happy you brought that up because it's something that like you hear in conversation, but like you can easily forget. And then you remember like, yo, you did a whole season with like a black shoulder, like literally purple black shoulder. And you did an entire season with it. Like that's Kaczynski level toughness,
Yeah, it is. I mean, he has a freaking plate in there now.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was.
I have such a baby. I would just feel like I'm tapping out. Sorry.
I broke my pinky. I'm done. Send me home.
The reason I'm not on the challenge.
Yeah, you pull a Kyle like, ha, 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 get me out of here.
Okay, don't make fun of Kyle.
Kyle's
Tia's other boyfriend.
That's my other boyfriend.
Kyle is the best.
Well, put in a good word for me.
Oh my God, Tia.
Love Kyle.
You got it.
Just Tia. She's the only one that loves Kyle.
I love him.
I knew who Kyle was before he did the challenge because I watched his original show, Geordie Shore.
Heck yeah.
So I knew who Kyle was before the nose job and the hairline.
But I haven't seen the new Geordie Shore yet.
I haven't watched the new one.
I don't think
where they did the reunions.
Is it out here? I don't think it's out here.
I gotta look. We're probably gonna have to find some website to go through. Anyway. Anywho, back to the show. So after the whole Laurel and Ryan falling out friendship, like I said, either go listen to the ZNP podcast or check out Ryan's live for more details so we're not boring you with all of them. Derek K makes a deal with Theo. I'm kind of surprised Theo took it.
I know.
Like, boy, you got one bum leg. What are you going to do on your team of two? And then
he's got one bum eye, so.
Well, yeah, but all his limbs work. All 6'5" of his limbs work.
Yes.
The massive height difference between those two in that shot. Theo had to like bend down to hear Derek whispering. I was like, wow.
That man is so good looking. Love it.
That's Tia's other boyfriend.
I'm not gonna lie, Tia. I'm really relating to you because that's how I drool over all the women. So I get it. Trust me. You're not like it's not like weird to me. I totally understand.
Wait,
Tia's got a reverse harem.
Who do you drool over the most?
Well, I'm only allowed to drool over the single ones. So,
okay.
If it was like off, if it was all holds bar, then I'd have more to say. But I mean, they're all beautiful. They're all beautiful.
You have to say, who is it?
I would say
they don't have to be single. You can still
tell us off the record.
Just because you're on a diet doesn't mean you can't look at the menu.
Doesn't mean you can't dream about the donuts.
I would say on this season, Naya's my crush. I'll say that. How about that?
We interviewed her and we loved her.
She's amazing.
Beautiful. She's so beautiful.
She is. Inside and out.
And she eats like a horse. That's crazy and still stays skinny.
I know. I'm envious of that too.
Everybody says eats like a horse. Do horses eat a lot? Like, I don't know. I just said that.
I think they're herbivores.
I don't know. Well, anyway, we love Naya.
We do. We sure do.
I don't really drool over anybody on the challenge.
I do.
Not since Joss. I was in love with Jay when he first started. I was in love with him. And then
as the hair faded, so did your love for him?
No, it was no, he actually looks really good now with the short hair. It's styled the way it should be. No, the season with him and Michelle, like the way he was moving, I was kind of like, I don't know if I love you that much anymore.
I see. He's another one I loved on Survivor and I didn't care for him on the challenge. Or don't care for him on the challenge. So Michelle's winning back. Jay has not had that opportunity. So
yeah. And I used to drool over Joss, but he hasn't been around. So,
he's a whole lot of man. So I get that too.
Joss or Jay?
The latter. No, the former. I don't know. Joss.
Pretty man. Seems boring as fuck, but he would be great to just look at.
Yeah, he seems boring. He bores me.
Yeah, nothing long term. You'd bore me too fast, but you're real pretty. Yeah, I need a little like back and forth. You got to keep me on my toes a little bit.
Good banter.
Yeah, I definitely need. Yeah, exactly, the banter. So we get to the daily. It's inspired by the upcoming Gladiator 2 movie, which I'm very excited for, by the way.
Pedro Pascal. I'll watch anything he's in.
I was like, Denzel?
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
I forgot he was in it. Yes.
Yeah, Denzel.
I was just thinking Pedro, but yeah. I'm going to watch it.
The daily is called Battle for Honor. It's basically they all get shields and the goal is to knock as many people from the other eras off the platform into the water. And whatever era has the most amount of people standing until the end essentially wins. So you have the men go first. Derek's being smart. He's staying outside of the line. He's like, I'm just going to kind of hang out and let you guys take each other out first, which I think is smart.
I don't know if he has a choice, Exactly. He doesn't really have any options, What's he going to do?
No. No, and
you're only one on your team and you're hurt. I mean, you kind of have to.
You got to play it as smart as you can. Yeah, exactly. Let everybody else beat each other up. And that is kind of what they were doing. Though I feel like they were just slipping and sliding for the first 15 minutes because I felt like it wasn't really until the end that like Bananas fell in and Derek C and then Nehemiah taking out Jordan and Derek K. Devin and Corey tried to make a last minute deal with Theo and he's like, nah.
Why would I make a deal with you?
Right.
Like, first of all, I already made a deal with somebody else. Second of all, you beat up on me the whole fucking time.
Right. I think it's a good job of Devin by getting Corey to think he cares. You know what I mean? We know you don't care, Devin. We know you do not care if Corey survives. We know that. Right. But good job making us kind of think. Somebody might say, hey, Devin really he does not care.
No, but he doesn't.
It was save face. It was a good look.
Yeah, and Corey falls for this stuff every single time. But anyway, they try to gang up on Theo. It does essentially work because he basically gets DQ'd because they like push him down so much that he can't stand back up. I think Corey talks a lot of shit for somebody who doesn't win anything except the occasional elimination.
Thank you.
Like, okay. And then he was like trying to come for Derek K. And I'm like, sir, he might be older, but he still bites. Like, security got involved real fast.
Yeah, he showed that.
They were like, and Derek's
the
like,
little
come
life jacket thing was so funny.
Was it Jordan was like, don't hit him from behind or whatever. Shut up.
Don't. I'm like, it's a life jacket. Do you need a Kleenex for your tears?
So he literally just went.
Like, if I bitched because someone threw a life jacket at me after a competition, like, send me back to primary school. Okay?
Well, you know, I'll speak for the testosterone. And I'll say, let me just tell you guys a little something about testosterone. Okay. When you have it and someone throws something at your back, you have every right to feel disrespected. And I actually give Corey a lot of credit for keeping it tight. And also, you know, he's not going to entertain, a broken leg Derek or whatever. You know what I mean? He's going now. With that being said, I personally, Derek got exactly what he wanted and he almost pulled it off. So Derek made it his episode. He really did.
Yeah. I almost felt like Corey didn't even know he got hit with the life vest. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? Someone probably told him afterwards. So that's why I brought it up down in the sand, but whatever. Yeah. So the women are up. I mean, it's kind of a similar situation. I don't even remember if any of the women actually got knocked off the platform at all. I mean, Cara tries to target Tori at one point because, you know, she notices Tori sort of lingering off in the back, trying to go unnoticed. Laurel sort of helps her.
Nia go in? Who else? Somebody went in.
Yeah, no, I know Nia took a tumble for sure.
Okay.
Did Avery?
Yeah, Avery fell in, I think.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Something must have distracted me the 2 times I was watching that scene where I was just like, we're just hitting each other. Let's just see what happens at the end, I guess. Bless Aviv. Dear, sweet 5-foot Aviv.
She's so sweet. I love her.
So sweet. She's like, I'm trying to survive against all these fucking gargantuan monsters. But you know what? She does it. He comes out strong. Era 4 does manage to win because they had the most amount of players still standing, and Era 1 default loses because they only have 2 players on the team, and with Derek falling in, it kind of screws everything up. Which, how would that have worked anyway? Like, what if both of them had stayed on and all of Era 4 had stayed on? Like, then how would that work? Because default number, like, are we going by percentages? We have to. Maybe
guys, you know how it is with these rules. We know
they make them up on the fly. They go, oh wait, we didn't take this into consideration. Let's figure it out.
Oh wait, we forgot this very crucial thing.
Right. Yeah.
So what do you think we should do, intern Rick? All right, we're going with that.
What's the best option? Okay, cool. Which, you know, you get, and like, as somebody, you know, and you guys make a podcast. Like, if you're making a piece of, you know, content, you got to do what you got to do, and you have the right to. But you should probably figure the rules out, or at least let us know, or at least let them know. So we'll see. I mean, you know.
I mean, what a concept.
That's been a source of contention for the.
Yeah, and I will say this too, is like, I can be critical, but the only thing we know is what you show us. So if you're giving everybody the real rules and hey, we're just only seeing a little part of it, then you can sleep at night. As a producer, you can sleep at night knowing that you did right by the competitor. We can only talk about what we see. So it's important just to note that.
Well, it was that whole Horacio thing. Like
Derek, I'm sorry, Ryan had some opinions on that too. I won't spoil them, but yeah, no, that's a good example because there was 2 parties of people who thought something very definitively, like very definitively, like they stood on business, they said what they felt about it, and they were like the opposite. So, great example of how something might not be objective. You know, like, it might not be cut and dry. We have 2 objective thinking people, different motivations, I admit, but thinking something completely different. That just goes to show you that you have to run a definitive game.
Sure.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. So with Era 4 winning, Theo and Jenny are safe. And they get to pick which set of targets are going to go against Derek and Rachel. Let's be real. I knew before deliberations that Derek, C, and Cara were safe.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Theo, that's Cara's boy. you know?
Right.
And I think even Jenny and Cara had a friendly relationship outside of the show, through like social media and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And everybody loves Derek C. And of course, like Theo says, why would I save Era 3? Corey was coming for me. And
Mhm.
if I was Era 4, I would see Era 3 probably as a little bit bigger of a threat, especially because you still got Jordan on the team. You know, you still have a Devin, you still have Corey, you have Tori, like you still have some pretty heavy hitters. So the deliberations get messy. Corey puts his foot in his mouth. Theo's like, bro, you came for me. Derek says they want Corey and Avery. Corey tries to talk smack to Derek, and Derek's like, yeah, and if you can't beat me, you shouldn't be here. So let's go.
It's kind of I meant to ask this earlier. It's kind of refreshing to see. Me personally, I'm not like a Corey hater, but I'm also not like his biggest fan, you know. So I like to ask people that hello, can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm just yelling at somebody in the background. You're fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, sorry. So yeah, I like to ask people what they think. This is a question, for historians and for people who analyze the game. Who has a better career, Corey or Leroy?
Leroy.
Oh, Leroy.
But
And
I love
why?
Leroy.
And why?
Yeah, see, I think all three of us really love Leroy. So
Who has a better career?
I mean, if you're going by stats, I would have to look it up, but I feel like I think Corey's only ever made it to one final, right?
I think he's made it to a few. I think he's made
I
it to
don't
a
know.
few.
That's interesting actually. I would need to look
I'll look
up.
it up.
I'm like
My
dating
point
out.
is, yeah, my point is like, he's in that middle tier. He's in that middle tier. You would say that it's the upper middle tier. Is it the lower middle tier? Who knows? But Corey's trying to break into that upper tier, and you're not gonna get there unless you kind of, take out your biggest competitors. In this case, I think going into elimination was a blessing for him, but we'll see.
Okay, I think we just like Leroy better than we do Corey. It's part of it.
You're right. Corey's been in 4 finals. That's how
Let's just put a
Has
little
he been in
respect. Let's just put a
4?
little respect on it. You know what I mean? Just a little bit. I'm not saying let's not crown him anything, but let's just.
I don't think we would diss Corey in his competitiveness. I just think Corey's never going to be a champion. Let's be real. I mean, I'm just going to call it. I don't think
I
he's
think
ever
he gets
gonna win.
ahead of himself
Yeah,
a little bit.
I don't think he's ever going to win.
So we talk a lot about on our show. We talk a lot about casting and the role that it plays, right? He's not winning this season, I don't think, unless it gets to individual very fast, because he doesn't have, obviously he can't have Nelson, but it's not like Hunter's there. It's not like people
Right.
it's not like Fessy is there. Like
Yeah.
well, you guys, like, this stuff matters a lot,
Oh, it
so
does. Absolutely.
anyways, I'm not here to defend Corey. I wanted to, just
No, we like getting different
We
opinions.
And
So
I
it's
don't
fine.
dislike Corey. He's just not even on my radar.
yeah, okay, fair enough.
That's horrible to say.
I just,
He's
I hope he's
doing it
worked
for
on
his
his math skills.
family. Come on, people.
His kids. I've got kids, man.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
You
yeah,
and everybody else now.
everybody's got a why. Yeah, everybody's got a why. So
I want somebody to just go on and just be like, I just want to spend it on myself. Like,
Yeah. I'm playing for me.
playing for me. Yes.
Mama needs a vacation.
I thought it was so funny when Kellyanne was like, "Yep, we're doing the dog sanctuary, and that's what this
Yes.
money's going to." And I'm
Okay.
like, I respect it. Like, whatever your why is, it doesn't matter. Your why is not more important than my why. You might be willing to do more for your why than I'm willing to do for my why, but it doesn't. No one's is more important than the others.
Her why is very important.
There you go. See, there you go.
It's
You're
all
talking
about
about dogs over
Listen,
humans.
we love her.
You're literally saying that dogs are more important than humans, and guess what? You have every right to do that. You have every right to do that.
That's not even a question.
Yeah,
For Tia, it's not a question.
I was asked this question: if a dog was drowning and a human was drowning, who would you say first? I would save the dog.
I'm not gonna attack dogs because I know I'll literally never have a career ever.
I
But
will hang up on you right now.
yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, all right, wait, what time is it? I hate dogs. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But my point is like the fact that you can say that, Tia, with
Yeah.
your chest and say, I would rather save a drowning dog, shows you how much people care about you, and you're not gonna get crucified for it. Shows you, I vehemently disagree, but it shows you how much people respect that. So,
I
anyways,
feel
I
like
had to bring it up.
I feel like I'm a pretty strong swimmer, so I swim to the dog and
I can do both. It's all right.
Right,
We'll
right,
save
right,
everybody.
my
It's
right.
fine.
my friend that asked me that though, I sat there for a second and he was like, "Did you really just like hesitate?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, I would go for the dog."
That's funny. That's
Dogs
funny.
are innocent. Humans aren't.
That's
Okay.
funny.
So before we get into an ethical debate, Era 4 decides to make their team think that this is a team vote because they decided back during deliberation
That was
we're
funny.
putting in Corey and Avery. And this is all Theo's thinking. This is not something Jenny would ever think to do. It's all Theo. And it is hysterical because it works.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Corey gets all up in his feelings. Josh gets in his feelings. I noticed Josh never said, "No, dude, we didn't vote for you." He was like, "Yeah, me and Casey kind of went with everybody else." And Kylan was even like, "He didn't say shit to try and save you,
Yeah,
bro." He was just like,
that was kind of weird, don't you think?
but that turns into a thing where Josh has too many friends. He makes too many promises. And in this game,
True.
you can't keep up with them all. You're going to
Piss somebody
quote unquote
off.
betray somebody.
The underlying thing here, which I'm actually really upset that I didn't put this together for our podcast, but you guys are gonna get the good stuff here. Because the underlying thing here is that Josh is friends with Rachel. Okay. So Josh is going to give Rachel the clearest path to victory. It does not matter what it does to Corey. Okay. So I didn't put that together until literally right now, but that's what happened. He's like, hey, Rachel's my girl. I need her here. And I'm not going to give her Kara. You know what I mean? I don't want to give her Kara. And guess what? If I can make it a team thing and hide behind the team, because, hey, if it really was a team vote, you and Casey put your votes and save Corey because you have that opportunity. And Corey's smart to say, my man, please, bro, stop. Like, stop. Like, we're cool outside of the show, but here, fuck you. Oh, sorry. I don't know if I can swear here.
No,
you absolutely can.
You're fine.
Yeah.
My bad.
No, you're good.
Damn, I did pretty good. An hour and I did all right.
Yeah, I drop F-bombs all the time.
Yeah, no, I did all right. But anyways, so yeah, and like I said, so I think that's a big bombshell. I think that's something that I know I didn't catch until right now, but that Josh Rachel tie has to be closer than we see and that they're letting on.
And of course, your casual viewer
that actually makes sense too.
It does. Your casual viewer is not going to know that. We can see that connection because we follow them on social media and we follow all these whatever. Rachel is like the sole reason why Josh has gotten his ass in better shape.
There you go.
And they live in the same area. They've done a lot of stuff together. Tori's kind of in that circle too now that she lives down there. It makes sense. And if you don't watch or pay attention to anything they do outside of the show, you would be like, Josh, what the fuck are you doing? But yeah,
that's a dot connection for sure.
That is a dot connection. So obviously Corey's pissed. They go round and round. Theo's just in the back of the corner, like, my popcorn. He's just like, oh, it was the team vote, mate. It was the team vote. Oh.
Right. He gets out kind of scot-free, right?
Yeah, he absolutely does. I love Theo. He comes up with these things and he just kind of snakes and slithers his way out of the hot seat, essentially. So then we get to the elimination. It's basically like a boxing ring setup. The boxer is going to be blindfolded and their opponent is dressed in this very interesting garb with these like bags of dye color powder.
Yeah.
The interesting chicken whatever the hell is on their legs that made them look like chickens. And I think within 5 minutes, the blinded boxer has to punch as many targets as they can. And obviously the person with the targets and their little bells have to try and deviate and get away from them. The women go first. And it's Corey and Avery versus Derek and Rachel. Poor, poor sweet Avery.
I know. She got hammered.
I think she would have had a better chance if she had went first as the blindfolded boxer
For
instead
sure.
of going second after
Because
the
she
pummeling from Rachel.
honestly didn't do that bad.
No,
But
she really didn't.
she took so many punches to the face.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she didn't do that bad on offense. On defense, she
Yeah.
was
No, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
she was like a ghost. Like you're just gonna stand there and get. I'm not standing there and getting hit by. You can move. You're allowed to move. And
Right.
I almost have no sympathy. I'll be honest. Like you listen to the rules. They didn't say you couldn't move. Move your ass around this fucking thing. And I'm not saying that. Oh, like Rachel's so brilliant for doing that. She just
Yeah.
saw what she was able to do to
Right.
Avery. Like, I better fucking move. If I don't,
Yeah.
I'm getting my ass kicked,
Nope, absolutely. And I think it could have just been like for Avery, it was like a shock, like, oh my God, I'm like trying to dodge and I'm making all the
Yeah.
sounds and I've got these heavy things on me and she's
Right.
fucking punching everywhere she can because Rachel does boxing and
Mm-hmm.
Rachel half-asses nothing in her life.
So this is one of those things where I think actually Avery would have really benefited had the men went first, like had the men went first and everybody sees kind of how this goes. Like she was the first person to have to do this,
Yeah.
She was the first person to take a punch. So like, I guess I do have sympathy in that regard. But like you stood there, like you didn't even protect yourself. Like you didn't, I don't know. It's just like, I felt bad. I guess I do feel bad. I mean, but it's a challenge.
I think she was too busy worried about her face because she didn't want to get
she was
hit
too
with
worried
the
about her face.
She said
Then
that.
She just
run
psyched
away,
out.
girl.
She's like, oh, my face.
Run away. Run away.
Run away.
Put your hands up.
Don't leave your face there uncovered. Like if that's what it is, then protect that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
But I'm sorry, if your face is your moneymaker, what the fuck are you doing on the challenge?
Exactly.
You see how many people have broken noses, busted eye sockets, lost fucking organs, almost broke their necks, like popped boob implants. Like,
well, I think that's like such an important thing to bring up. Like I always talk especially when I talk to anybody, I have to let them know that the badassery and the vulnerability that they possess is so much because these are dangerous activities. These are, in many cases, appearance altering stuff. So they're all badasses, including Avery, and I think she had a great season, but this performance was pathetic.
It could have been better.
I agree.
Do you think that Derek should have gone in for her though? Because I know there's like been like debate of how he should have went in for her. I don't think he should have. I wouldn't have.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not because not because it's not the right thing to do, is because you can't rob Peter to pay Paul. His whole methodology of not going in before was that he would take down Aviv's game. You're not going to take down Kara's game for no reason, just to save somebody. Now, it would be interesting if he was paired up. Like, let's say that was Ryan and he was with Laurel in that situation. Hey, you might go to stalemate because, hey, I'm going to make Laurel go in. That's actually a great point too, is like, it depends on who you're partnered with. If he's partnered with someone he doesn't like or doesn't mind losing, then yeah, it's not a big deal for me to cause a stalemate because, hey, I'm not risking the game of somebody I respect.
Right.
Agreed. Plus, this is a different situation. Avery went in for Derek because her and Tony were in the power seat and they would not come to a decision. And instead of Avery giving up what she felt morally, she didn't want to give up to Tony, and Tony didn't want to, change or whatever. That's why she went in for him. Mm-hmm. If I'm not even positive, if I'm not in that position, I sure should have not volunteering myself. Be like, no, the winners didn't want to put me in. Sorry, girl. I'll see you at home.
Yeah, I guess that's that's a good point. Me personally, I do think like the good reason, like the good reason to not pay it back is that you don't want to hurt someone else's game. I think like what you're saying is a valid thing. I think that might be on the selfish spectrum, maybe. But I think like, you can't hurt somebody's game that doesn't deserve it. And Aviv didn't deserve it, and Cara doesn't deserve it. If it was Laurel and he felt she deserved it, I might kind of be more critical of that choice. But Cara has done nothing to him, probably supportive. And I know from conversations and from podcasts that they had a good relationship on All Stars 4. They played a lot of cards, and so there you go.
Nope, absolutely. So then we get to the men. Um, the men's is just crazy. I mean, Derek hopping around on one leg to get away from Corey was
Did you
insane.
like this whole did you like it though? Because like
I like
sometimes
the elimination.
I did too. I like this one. Yeah. Sometimes it
Did
happens
I
and you're like,
did I like the elimination? I did like it. I think that it would have been so awesome to see Kara and Rachel in there. I think like it would have just been
ooh,
much more of a fair fight.
yeah.
But hey, I mean every underdog has to, sorry, every Goliath, sometimes you face a David, and sometimes Goliath beats the shit out of David. And that's just how it goes. So this is one of those times. And on our show, I don't know what you guys feel about Rachel,
Always love Rachel.
yeah, as I've said several times, I watch the new. I'm more familiar with all the new stuff, and everybody talks about how awesome she was way back when, and blah blah blah. I have not seen dominance until this moment, and I haven't seen dominance in the dailies. I haven't seen dominance on All Stars 4, with exception of like that very first daily on All Stars 4.
Well, but
Um,
see, let me ask you this though, because they're more like some of them are more like my age. Actually, they're
mhm,
probably younger than me.
okay.
But don't you think that makes a difference? Like Rachel's how old?
I
Like
mean,
40?
does it make a difference in terms of my evaluation of who they are as people? Yes, but we're
No,
playing
no,
the
no,
same
no.
game.
Of them, you said you haven't seen dominance. I mean, look back at her record at that age. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
But
versus
we're
people that are
but Rachel at 23 is not in this house. I'm looking at Rachel at 43. So
fair, fair point.
so if we're talking about the game today, I'm not talking about
Yeah,
records. I'm not talking about legacies. I'm not talking about careers.
I think she's doing amazing at her age.
I mean, look, I haven't seen dominance in myself personally. Now she was
Yeah,
dominant here. Now she was dominant here,
yeah,
and I'll admit that. Was she playing the easiest opponent in the whole house at this point? Yes, she was.
that is
Maybe
true.
you might say Aviv. You might say Aviv would be easier. I don't think so. I think Aviv would
Oh, no,
I
I
think
think
Aviv would be a
Aviv is a
tougher.
badass.
I think
I don't
Aviv would
think
be a
she would
tougher
be.
opponent. But
Yeah,
other than that, there's literally not another person in this house that would be easier to do this with. I don't even think Michelle would be as easy as this. This was a rag doll waiting to be punched. And I'm not gonna say it was a dominant performance. I'm not gonna say it was like, oh, so spectacular, this and that. You do that to Laurel, you do that to Cara, you do that to Jenny, you do that to Casey. Hey, you're the best woman in this house. I'm not there yet.
right.
Just saying.
I can see that too.
I feel that.
I can
I feel
feel it.
that.
Obviously, Tia and I, and even like I've been watching the show for 20 years. So
Yeah, same.
I know and remember the Rachel of the older seasons. And
Absolutely. But guess what?
yeah,
How about you yourself? Were you a better athlete 20 years ago?
well,
I was never an athlete.
I was about to say, well, I was like a small child and I was like, oh my God, wait, no, I'm 37. I was 17.
I'm okay. So I'm 33 years old. Okay. I'm 33 years old. When I was 18, I could do crazy shit compared to what I could
Yeah.
do. And now you know what
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
saying? Now, here's one thing that I will say though. One thing that I do respect is that she's coming to a mind, body, and soul competition, and fitness is a big part of it. And she came ready, prepared. Fitness is her lifestyle. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying she's not the horse I would bet on, because I would. This is what this woman does for work, for life, for her livelihood. This is how she lives. However, the dominance, the arrogance that she speaks with, I don't see it backed up, and I also don't see it backed up socially either, because a lot of people are doing the dirty work for her in many circumstances. Corey even said it. I didn't hear one word out of Rachel's mouth to say that she wanted Avery, but she didn't need to do that. Derek did it, and Josh did it in the vote. So why does she need to say anything?
Are you?
Rachel's always been that way.
Yes.
She's always been that way.
I made my case. I will back up.
So we can cut this if we need to, but like you know who wins, right?
Hey,
Are you a spoiler?
I can
Any
nor
hooties.
I can neither confirm or deny. I cover the episodes as they happen. I cover it as it's live.
Understood.
Gotcha.
That's fine. Yeah, so with this
Moving
elimination,
on.
long story short, Derek and Corey hit every target on their opponent. It literally came down to time. No surprise. Rachel ended up winning.
Crazy.
She hit all the targets. The fact that Corey almost lost to a man with one leg.
God,
Like that
I
again,
wish he
I know we
had
talked about
lost.
it.
I
I
wish
don't
Derek
because
could.
I'm kind of glad Derek went home because look, realistically he was not going to last much longer and I don't like seeing opportunities taken away from people who are still very physically healthy when you know like
I get what
realistically
you're
we're in the
saying,
beginning of the
but
season. We're
I
not
get
like
what
right
you're
before the
saying, but like,
final.
how crazy would that have been if Corey
I
lost
think
to a one-legged man?
well, sure, it would have
I
been
mean,
wild
come
as a
on.
viewer, but all I could do watching this is I'm like, Derek is just fucking his leg up worse.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
he's just making the injury worse, which is going to create a much longer recovery period for him. And it probably did because of, what it turned out he ended up doing. So amazing performance, like we talked about in the beginning of the episode. I mean, once again, Derek showed that he is that pit bull. He is that dog with that fight in him, and that is never going to go away. And I like the response between Corey and Derek at the end, where they were both,
Mhm.
as competitors, very supportive of each other. Um, Derek definitely looked like he just got out of the Joker movie with all that paint on his face. I was just like, his nose is very red and the blue, and I was like, Joker, is that
This
you?
is random, but did you know the Joker is a musical? I did not know
Yes, the
that.
Joker too. I knew that because I'm a Lady Gaga fan, so I knew that from the jump.
No idea.
I also heard it was awful, so I'm going to
Oh,
wait
it's yeah. I heard it's
until it's
terrible.
not in theaters, which makes me
Anyway,
very sad. But anywho, yeah. So it's just wild to me that Corey almost literally just won because of time. So I'm very interested on what would have. I think if Derek's leg would have been fine, I think Derek would have won. Corey
oh,
might have
hands
still
down.
hit all the targets, but time wise, I think it would have been in Derek's favor. Um, I don't know what Corey thinks he's doing with that meme, him like he's a gladiator holding up bread, and Derek said, I'm like, sir, I'm like, Derek
Obnoxious.
had a bum fucking leg. Like,
I have a hard time. I have a hard time with that, with bragging about that one. But hey, you gotta you got, like I said, you gotta take them while you can get it. If that's how you shine, that's how you shine.
yeah.
I'll tell you what. People wouldn't be saying that Derek's win didn't count if he won. So you got to take them how you can get them.
Oh no. He
Yeah.
absolutely won. I mean, he still had to perform and everything like that. It's just I wouldn't be that'd be like Laurel bragging that she beat Jasmine and balls in. I mean,
Yeah.
anyway, so they have to make the new targets. Rachel's the default target for Air One. She is the sole standing member, which really sucks for the men on the rest of the eras because that means if you don't
Yeah.
win next week, you're automatically going in because there's only 3 total options.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever team wins is safe. Everybody else, y'all fucked.
Mm-hmm.
For Era 2, the targets are Laurel and Ryan, which I think it was smart for Ryan to volunteer
And why is
Agreed.
that?
when Laurel is the female because Laurel ain't going to throw the challenge.
Right.
And if people might be too afraid to go against Laurel, so by pairing himself with Laurel, he kind of might help save himself from having to go into elimination. Era 3 is Devin and Tori. We kind of talked about that. It's smart for them to pair together as targets. They're a winning duo. And then Era 4, we have Casey and Kyland. Again, I think it's smart to pair them together because they're both Big Brother people. They think on the same wavelength. And that's a formidable duo. Next week, it looks like we get a lot more friend drama. That's the only thing I got to see in my 15-second preview. And I think they jump off of something. That
I
was
didn't
it for
watch
the
the
episode.
I didn't watch the preview. I will say that I will say that Zach had a different opinion on Kylan nominating himself, and if you want to hear that, go ahead and hop on that. But I think it was a great episode, and excited for what's to come.
Yeah. So does anybody else have anything they want to add? I know Tia had a couple questions specifically for Pierre.
Well, we usually end the recaps with, or when we have guests on, we ask you 3 random questions. They're just,
Give them to me.
nothing crazy. All right. So, can you fold a fitted sheet?
Absolutely. My background is in hospitality. I worked in hotels my entire life. I can definitely fold a fitted sheet and I can make a bed perfectly. I can put my folding skills specifically with towels up with anyone on the planet.
Nice. I cannot fold a fitted sheet to fit.
Random fact, I'm pretty sure it's in China. It might be one of the other Asian countries. They actually have competitions of bed making.
I like that. I like that.
Don't ask me
Very
how I
good.
know that, but anyway.
All right, cool. Well, that's a good question. What else?
What are you really bad at?
Wow, that's a good one. All right, I'm gonna give you an answer that's funny because like this is more of like a relative question. Relative to how much I play, I'm pretty bad at golf. I should be much better. I should be much better. What am I really bad at? I'm not a great singer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. I'm a terrible singer.
I give effort too. I give effort. I do. But like it's A for effort, B for or D for E for talent. Horrible talent. But
All right. Any hidden talents?
yeah, hidden talents. I have two.
Okay.
So well, actually hidden. Okay, I'm very flexible. Okay, I'm very flexible, which is
Okay.
people don't expect because I'm a morbidly obese person, but I'm also a great athlete. So, people are surprised by my flexibility and they're surprised by my quickness. But I might be 350 plus, but I can move. Like, I like for example, like this last daily challenge, like a lot of the stuff like I have zero desire to do. This one would have been fun for me because I don't think those guys are moving me and I know I'm moving them. And I don't work out. So they might be weight room strong, but I'm like, big boy strong, like cattle strong. So I would have liked to have that opportunity to do that. And then I like to, so I'm not a good singer, but I can rap. I can spit some bars. So that's something
Okay.
that people don't know about. But
Do you want to
Okay.
rap for us?
Oh, don't
Would
put
you
me
I
on
like
have
the
a,
to?
spot.
I always have a few locked and loaded. So if you want, I mean, I don't want to bore you guys, but
No, we would love
all right,
that.
I'll do the classic one. So like a lot of times
Okay.
if like if I'm at a party or if I'm out in a bar and like this is like my bar trick, I'll act like I'm hitting on you. So you ready, Tia?
Okay.
All right, ready, look.
Give it to me.
Looking at you from a distance, it took a lot of persistence to maintain my resistance. But understand this, at first glance, I thought I had a 100% chance to make you my mistress. Look, come to find out I wasn't on your agenda, took me as a pretender instead of a contender. But I said, oh, you don't even know my name yet, baby. Why you just trying to jet, girl? I'm just trying to get to know you better, and maybe after a while, I can make your bed better. And then I got some other stuff, but I have
And
fun
then you
with it.
follow it
That's
up with
good.
buying a drink, right?
Well, I mean, things happen. Things
Is
happen.
that
I actually don't drink. That's actually a random fact about me. I don't drink
Oh,
personally.
okay?
I'm allergic, but it's good because I get to
oh
be like the
wow.
babysitter, so it's fun.
Oh,
You
you're the
get to
D.
remember all the fun
You're
stories
the
of everything you
DD.
see.
I remember everything, but if anyone asks, don't know what happened.
What
That's
about
me.
greens?
What up?
Do you smoke? The green.
Yeah. I mean, we
We
fly.
can cut it
You
out
might
if you
not want
want
to
me
say
to.
that.
No, we fly. We fly high. We fly
It's
high.
okay. So
Choose
do
a
some of us.
Yeah, we fly high.
can't
I
drink.
It's
mean,
legal here.
yeah, it's legal here.
It
It's
is.
legal
It
here.
is
See?
not legal in Florida yet.
Oh,
Without a
really?
We
medical.
vote next month.
Or
So. And I don't even smoke, but I'm gonna vote for it because I feel like everyone should be able to smoke. I actually said that
Yes.
to Nadine earlier. If I smoked, I would be rolling a fat ass J right now.
Hey, some people do.
But
Some people do. Some people don't. For me,
not my
when the
thing.
time is right. When the time is right.
Mm.
That's my medication. Basically. So I don't have to take other stuff. I think that's it. Is that it, guys? Anything else?
No, I think that was it.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Pierre. This was a lot of
Yeah.
fun. We love getting a different perspective, and you kind of have that unique perspective because you do get the opportunity to talk to a lot of these casts really fast after their episodes air and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And you just have different opinions, which, like I said, we enjoy because sometimes, especially T and I, we have the same opinion. It's like talking
Right.
to ourselves.
No,
So,
same. I always, especially like when I do a recap and I do a couple here and there, but I always like hope I'm not being too repetitive. But I think like a lot of times these conversations, like I came up with like 3 or 4 connections here, and I did a whole freaking show for 2 hours plus with Zach and Ryan. So we were covering everything, but
yeah.
I still made 2 major connections from this conversation. The Josh not voting for Corey because of Rachel. That was huge. I just thought of that. And then the other one, I forgot what it was, but there was another one where it was like a really, really big light bulb moment. And I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun. And
Yes.
I hope we were able to do it again in the future.
Yeah, we would love that.
Yeah,
Once we
anytime.
release it, I'll tag you want me to tag your IG
Yeah,
profile?
you can take the personal.
Okay. Um, if we're not following you, I'll follow it.
No
I don't
worries. I'll follow
remember.
you back.
I follow you.
I follow you on my personal one, but I don't know if
How did this happen? Because I know, remember, I think like we found you guys because of the Jay
Oh,
situation. What happened there? Who was
yeah.
talking
So
about me? Somebody was talking crap about me.
apparently it was
Yeah.
me. I don't remember, but I talk a lot of shit, period. I'm a
I
shit
loved
talker.
it. I loved
But
it
you
because
didn't
that's what
really
we do.
say anything. Some guy just
Just
goes and tells you
some
that we
fan
were
that doesn't
talking
like
crap
women.
about you
Well,
with
no,
They
I
said we
Jay.
mean,
were
I think it's awesome. I think like that's the whole job, right? That's the whole point is to give your opinion. And if you don't have a strong opinion, then like you're boring. Like you should have a strong opinion
you
and
should.
feel a certain way. I do think in a lot of situations, you might want to get to know someone. And I think like Jay's a perfect example. My whole thing is in the why I've been critical of Jay is like all I know is what I see here. And
Yeah.
for the Jay situation specifically, it's this big resurgence and he had such a great season. I didn't see it that way. I'm sorry. And I have no problem saying that. I have no problem saying that. And I would love the opportunity for him to come here and tell me why I'm 100% wrong. That's the beauty of what we do. So
Mhm.
I have no problem. Talk as much shit about me as you want. Next episode, if you want to say Pierre was an idiot, he didn't know what he was talking about, I will not be upset. I think that shit's awesome.
I feel
And I
like
will say
that's he didn't say anything
he really
bad.
didn't.
That's the
And
thing. I don't know who this person was that came to you and was like they're trash
just some
talking you.
random
I'm like,
fan.
what?
And
Okay.
honestly, what he said was he's like, they've never reached out to me. He's like, not that I know of. And he said, honestly, I don't even know if I could because he was like, I respect the way that they do their podcast. You guys fly people in. With him being a firefighter with his schedule,
Yeah,
he's like, I don't know if I could dedicate that to them. But it really wasn't because
it
we
wasn't
know
that
that
bad.
sometimes people
Well,
can read
we
or see
we are
whatever.
coming to New York, so maybe I might reach out to him. Maybe
Yeah.
see. I don't
He's
know.
actually a really nice guy.
No, I'm
Very
I'm
nice
sure.
guy.
I'm sure. I'll bring it up to Zach and see if we can get his number and give him a shout. I mean, actually, Nicole will get it for me in 2 seconds. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I'll just
Yeah.
text
because they're
Nicole.
very close.
Nicole,
Yeah.
Nicole, I want to see Jay, and we'll see. Maybe you'll see that. Maybe you'll see Jay on ZMP. So that'll be fun.
Okay, wait. I know we're like cutting this off, but Nicole is another person, sort of like Laurel. I feel like a lot of people really, really hate her, but then you look and you see she's got so many friends. So there's something there, like that people like her.
Yeah. So Nicole is actually for me, I love her and I have like a
Mhm.
great relationship and friendship with her. We talk about like personal stuff and like I appreciate that from her. I know that there are people that don't care for her and I know their reasons. I don't have the same reasons. I think she's
I'm
amazing.
talking
I think
about
she's
fans in
empathetic. Oh, you're
general,
talking about fans.
just
Yeah.
in general.
This is what I'll say about that. This is what I'll say about that. I can't blame a fan for not liking a real life personality trait. Cheating is a real life thing. So I can't
Gotcha.
blame a fan for hating someone for that. You know what I mean? I really can't.
Yeah.
I can, for me personally, I wouldn't, I would need to see changes before I would want her to date someone I loved. And I
Same.
think, and I think she's committed. I think she's committed to making those changes. I actually really do. So, I don't, if I gave my endorsement, if someone was like, hey, I want to date Nicole. What do you think? I would say be cautious. She has a history, a self-admitted history. Okay.
Right.
But she's an amazing person. She has such a heart full of love and she wants to be a lover and a provider and a mother and all those great things. Now, with that being said, I don't blame a fan for not liking that about her.
I mean, she was quite lovable with Ryan so last night.
Yeah,
So
if a fan doesn't
absolutely.
like her for that reason, I actually understand it.
Yeah.
But any other reason, I don't get it because I
Yeah.
think she's hilarious. I think she's so cool too. Like once you like hang out or see how she is in person, it's like, dude, she's like, it's funny because obviously she's a bro, but the one thing that you don't get from her on screen is she's actually very feminine too. You
Mhm.
don't get that. That doesn't translate on screen, but when you see her and you're around her, she's very feminine and
Yeah, I would not have
she is. She
uh,
is. She's feminine too. Obviously, she's a
yeah.
bro. She's a firefighter. She talks to women like she's a bro. Like, hey, yo, come here. Like that's how she is. But she is very feminine. And like when you understand that about her, to me, it just makes her much more likable, lovable. I got nothing but good things to say about Nicole.
Good. That's nice. That's good to hear.
Yeah. I feel like I would be cool with her outside of the show, but if I dated women, I wouldn't date her. But she seems like she'd be a good time to hang out with, just shoot the shit with, whatever.
Awesome. I would like go on vacation with Nicole. That's how cool she is.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, thank you again so much. I know we've gone way later than I thought we were going to, but you know what? It was fun. I enjoyed it. Thank you again for joining us. Like I said, I'm gonna have it out this weekend. I got ghost stuff I got to do tomorrow, and then after that, I'll tag you in it, all that good stuff. And until next time, guys, we'll see you later. Bye.
Well,